Now it's time to discuss circles. First things first, the standard form of the equation for a circle of radius r with center hk is given by this formula. X minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals r squared. Now remember, h represents the x value in your center, and k represents the y coordinate of your center. Find the standard form of the equation for the circle with radius 3 and center negative 2, 7. Well, if you know the formula, which is right here in front of you, then you can just fill it in. X minus the x coordinate of the vertex all squared plus y minus the y coordinate of the vertex all squared equals r squared. Well, r is 3. Now just simplify it. This would be x plus 2 all squared plus y minus 7 all squared equals 9. This is the standard form of the equation of the circle with radius 3 and center negative 2, 7. Find the standard form of the equation for each of the following circles. So we have one on this page and one on the next page. A circle with diameter whose endpoints are negative 4, negative 1, and 2, 5. Well, as you can see, we have negative 4, negative 1 here, and 5, 2 here. So this is your diameter. We want to know what the equation of this circle is if this is its diameter. So what exactly do we know? Well, we know this is the equation for a circle. Let me just put that in here so we'll have it too. This is the equation of a circle in standard form. We know this is a distance formula and this is a midpoint formula. Now I wonder if we're going to have to use all of these. Well, I don't think I'd put them there if we weren't, right? Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. If we find this entire distance, what would that tell us? That tells us the diameter. Well, a radius is actually half of a diameter. Well, since we need to know the radius squared for our equation, I think that would be a good thing to find out. Okay, so for the distance and diameter pretty much mean the same thing in this case. It's going to be the square root of, here's our points, this is the formula, so x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. So that's going to be 2 plus 4 squared, that's 36. 5 plus 1, that's 6 all squared, that's also 36. So you get the square root of 72, which would simplify into 6 square roots of 2. Now this is the diameter. The radius is half of that. So the radius would be half of 6 square roots of 2. So the radius is actually 3 square roots of 2. Well, in the formula, we need the radius squared. So r squared would be 3 square roots of 2 all squared, which would be 9 square root of 4. Well, square root of 4 is 2. 9 times 2 is 18. So far, all we have is this part. We know that's going to be 18. Now we have to figure out what the center is. Remember, the diameter goes right through the middle of the circle, so it passes through the center. And since the diameter goes all the way across with the center in the middle, it would be the midpoint of that segment. So we do need to use this midpoint formula. So let's see if we can squeeze this in here. We have x1 plus x2 over 2. We have y1 plus y2 over 2. Simplify. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this is going to be the center. Well, now we have all of the parts to plug into our formula. X minus h, which is a negative 1, so that would end up being a positive 1, all squared, minus y minus k, all squared, is equal to r squared. This is the equation of the circle in standard form. Okay, how about this one? We're still wanting to write the equation of a circle, but this time it's tangent to the line x equals negative 1 and has a center at 3, 5. So, if it is tangent to a line, it means it just touches it in one little point. Well, it also tells us that the center is at 3, 5. That means it must touch this line at the point negative 1, 5. So this point right here is the point negative 1, 5. Now how do we use this information to write the equation of the circle? We know this is the center, so we can go ahead and fill in that part. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Well, the radius is from here to here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 units, right? The radius is 4, which means r squared must be 16. We will often need to reverse the process illustrated in the first two examples. That is, given an equation for a circle, we need to determine the circle's center and radius, and possibly graph the circle. If the equation is given in standard form, this is very easily accomplished. Sketch the graph of the circle defined by x minus 2 all squared plus y plus 3 all squared equals 4. Well, to do that, pick out the center. The center is going to be HK. So that will be 2, negative 3. Now what's the radius? Remember, this is r squared. So if r squared is 4, then r must just be 2. So we go to 2, negative 3. That's our center. Our radius is 2. So what we want to do is just go up 2 in every direction possible. And then we would want to sketch the graph. I just so happen to have one ready. I hope it works. Well, it's pretty close. That's it. So what if your equation looks like this one? We want to sketch the graph of this equation. Alright, we're going to have to complete the square twice in this particular case. So what we want to do is put all the x's together and put all the y's together. If you'll notice, I left a couple of blanks in here. That's because we're going to complete the square. You take half of 8, which is 4, and you square it, which is 16. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Half of 2 is 1, and 1 squared is 1. Okay, let's simplify. This is a perfect square. It factors into x plus 4 all squared. It's supposed to be a plus, by the way. This is also a perfect square. It is y minus 1 all squared. On the right hand side, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, so we just get 16. Well, now we have the equation of the circle in standard form. What's the center? It's the point negative 4, 1. What's the radius? It's the square root of this. So the radius will be 4. So we go to negative 4, 1. That's the center. And we want to go 4 in every direction. This graph looks like it's a little bit skewed, so it won't make a very good circle, but I think you'll still get the idea.